This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. Although, judging from my shirt behind me, I love Toronto, and I consider that my real home because New Brunswick is so damn behind in the times. I don't care about it anymore, despite living here for almost 52 years. I'm gonna give Toronto the praise in terms of far as my home front goes. But nonetheless, we're not here to talk about destinations because here to talk about eight, outrageous eight.
The
Uh,
number eight.
yes, the number eight, not the hateful eight, the outrageous eight.
The outrageous eight. And we are outrageous indeed.
Yes. My guest has been on here a couple times before, and she sent some musicians my way in the past, and she wanted to come on here tonight because um she's got a pair of Barbie earphones on her head, and
I do.
yes, all pink. Folks, I give you Angela O'Neill. How do you do, Angela?
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Greg. It is my great pleasure to be here with you. Again, I have so much fun hanging out with you,
Hmm.
and I'm very glad to be back.
Yeah. So, what's you got Barbie earphones?
I do. I love pink. Not only that, I was the prop master on the LA unit for Barbie. So I'm not ashamed to wear pink at all. And yeah, I got
Did
my
you?
little pink earphones. I actually ended up with these by chance because my other, like, $500 fancy schmancy earphones busted. And I was like, you know, on Amazon, like, oh my God, what's the cheapest, thing I can get? And these were the cheapest. And so I was like, I'll stick with these. These are cute.
Yeah. Well, tell me, did you see Margot Robbie?
Well, I worked on the set, right? So
Yeah.
I do music,
Hmm.
and I have done a little bit of acting during the course of my life. And as part of that, an adjunct to that, I work behind the scenes. And over the past 20 some odd years, I have worked in props. And yes, so the prop department is right there on set with the actors and the director, trying to, make everything gorgeous and work perfectly. And in the case of Barbie, they shot Barbie Land and most of what you see, their homes and Barbie Land itself in the UK on a stage north of London. And then they came over for, if you saw the movie, when they take the car and they go to real life. We were real life Los Angeles. So we shot all the parts that were kind of exteriors really in Los Angeles.
Yeah. You don't have to do a whole lot to make Margot Robbie look gorgeous.
Well, not only is she gorgeous, but as an important aspect, she actually was the person who, I don't think I'm speaking out of school, some version of found this property and was the person who was the main producer on this show, not just a pretty face.
Yeah, I've liked her for a long time. You know what? It's funny because in her career, she played one of the most evil villains of all time, Tanya Harding, and I, Tanya. And then she got
Great
nicer.
movie.
I loved her in it. And then
Yeah.
she got less villainous by playing Harley Quinn.
Yeah. It's a great role.
Yeah. And then she started behaving herself a little bit by playing Sharon Tate and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right, right.
Yep.
Yeah, she was great in that.
And
Yeah.
now she's Barbie. So I'm like, she seems to be getting nicer and nicer.
Yeah. Her characters, I think that you mean to say,
Yeah.
not her herself. She, I bet, has not changed and is a
Yeah.
super nice, very approachable, yeah, very, very kind and cool and very chill lady. She's not any way like her evil characters that
She's
other
not
people wrote
anyway
for
like
her.
Tanya Harding.
No, not at all.
Well, I got around Margot Robbie. I'd be like Rodney Dangerfield. I'd be like,
I'm sure she's used to that.
I like Margot Robbie, you know. I did see Barbie. I enjoyed it for the most part. I enjoyed it, you know. Um, I do hope that Ryan Gosling sings the Ken song at
I
The
saw it was
Oscars.
confirmed that he is singing it.
Actually, we got to back up a little bit. Talk
Okay.
about the Barbie houses. Now,
Yeah.
does Paul Literal and Brent, is it Buttersworth? Do they live in
Butterworth. Uh-huh.
do they live in Barbie houses?
Well, they
Yeah.
would live in Ken houses, wouldn't you think?
Oh, they're with the Kens. That mean they don't live in the houses.
All the Kens live, in one compound and all the Barbies in another, as far as I can tell. Seems
Yeah,
to appears to be the rules.
yeah. I'm wondering if they were there with the Kens.
They may have been in that big dance sequence. They were back there doing a big,
Yeah,
chasse. Maybe. Could have been. Paul would have
yeah.
played trumpet on that very happily.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. I could see that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. They
Yeah,
would love it.
yeah, I could see that. Oh man, yeah. I saw Barbie in the theater, um, and I had a few issues with it, but nothing that kept me away from enjoying it. But if I mentioned my issues, I'd be spoiling the movie, you know.
I know it's
But
hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't
yeah.
want to spoil it for somebody who hasn't seen it yet.
But I did like it for the most part. It's just that how do I put this delicately? I'm fine myself being single, but you look at Ken and Barbie, I don't like the divide, and I think you've seen the movie, I think you know what I'm talking about there.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't big on something that happened in that movie, and I'm kind of like they say, yeah, there's no Ken without Barbie. I get that. I absolutely get that. I mean, Barbie was in Toy Story 2, and then Ken came in Toy Story 3. I get that, you know?
Hmm.
By the way, greatest Margot Robbie role ever, Barbie in Toy Story 2.
I don't think I saw that one actually, but
Actually,
she's great.
well, that wasn't Margot Robbie, but
Oh,
they did the outtakes at the end of it, and they had the Barbie like going, everybody gone, everybody gone, everybody gone. Oh, I got tired of holding my face like that. Oh, I can't smile anymore. Yeah, they had outtakes for Toy
oh,
Story
that's
2.
funny.
It
I
was
did not
really,
realize that.
I love the Toy Story films, but Toy
Hmm.
Story 2 was my favorite of the four. And they did outtakes and I thought that was so clever. But
Yeah,
I
it is
always
clever.
remember Barbie at the end of it was like, everybody gone. And she just lets a smile go, oh,
Just
how do I tell
exhausted.
my kid?
So cheerful all the time. We did a scene in yeah, in here in the LA, and it was at a school in Santa Monica. And I remember I think it was it the first scene that we shot maybe with them. Maybe it was. Yeah, first thing in the morning. And Margot Robbie, runs up. Barbie runs up to in the lunch area, runs up to a group of girls and just starts talking to them, and they're like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Barbie." And it's so funny that contrast of the kind of like 14-year-old, very cynical little high school student, and there's Margot Robbie, just like all smiles and happy to be there, and of course, I'm your inspiration. And it was just such a funny contrast, that scene actually, because the little high school girls were so hardened, like, oh, nobody plays with Barbie anymore. It's like, oh man. I think there's a sweetness to the concept of Barbie that I think really appeals. There's a kind of naivety and an innocence that I think Greta Gerwig really got across with the writing, that I think is a very sweet part of that movie. Kind of the innocence and niceness, like you say, pasting that smile on all the time is tiring, but the alternative is a bummer, right? Because it's a
You know
bummer to
what?
live your life.
I have no problem looking at a smile on Margot Robbie's face.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But I'll say this, I don't have any Barbies here, but I do have, and they're boxed away here, but I do have three or four, maybe five, Margot Robbie likenesses of Harley Quinn.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, they're in their
They're
collectible box.
dolls.
well, they're figurines,
Oh,
like
okay.
your action figures or
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, I
And
didn't know they did those. Yeah.
oh yeah, I've got some Harley Quinns in the likeness of Margot Robbie.
Oh, I see. Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha, gotcha. Oh, those are going to be collector's items for sure.
yeah, I still got them in their boxes, but they were so detailed and looked so much like her. I was like, I gotta grab this. I got one bigger one and I got a couple of smaller ones. One's got the baseball bat, one's got the big hammer, and
Right.
yeah, so yeah, I always liked Margot Robbie, and I thought Greta Gerwig, there's been a lot of controversy over her not being nominated for the Oscars, and I kind of get that because it took a lot to create that world, you
Hmm.
know. But I have to say, the most brilliant moment in that film was the opening with the reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It's pretty great.
That
It's
was
all
great.
so creative, and Sarah Greenwood was the production designer. The design of that whole movie, it's interesting. I think that they also categorized that screenplay as being an adapted screenplay, which is bizarre because it's not like there was a previous Barbie screenplay. So it seems like a bizarre thing to call it, put it in the adapted screenplay category.
Mhm.
But look, there's some of the things that play into this. I think that they expanded the category of Best Picture to being 10, right? But they didn't expand the other categories. So it's just a math thing, right? So if there aren't 10 directors nominated and while there's 10 pictures nominated, there's going to be somebody who's left out, and that's just kind of the way the numbers run. Just the irony of her being left out, of a movie that pulled $1 billion worldwide or something, is so much along the lines of what the Barbie story is about, that it's just the irony is very deep. Let's put it that way.
She got snubbed, and so did Margot Robbie. I think Margot was great, and I'm although I got to admit, I'm really, really, really hoping Emma Stone gets her second Oscar
She's pretty
because
amazing.
as much as I love Margot Robbie, I'm a huge Emma Stone fan.
Yeah, I am too, for many years. Lots
Yeah,
of her work people have never seen. She did in smaller pictures and stuff, and her work is always really extraordinary.
I've been a fan of Emma Stone since her first movie, Superbad.
So,
That was
oh,
in
I
two.
forgot that she was in Super Bad. Yeah,
Yep.
she's great. She's great.
Um,
She really.
I saw that in the theater, and I had a little crush on her just from that movie. Maybe it's
Hmm.
because I related to Jonah Hill's character,
Hmm.
and I just kind of followed her since. So, and there's a lot of parallels between Poor Things and Barbie.
Hmm.
There's a
I
lot of
could see
poor,
that.
yeah. Well, I saw Poor Things in Toronto when I went there in the fall, and because we didn't get it here, and I really wanted to see it.
How
But
far are you away? You're a plane ride away from Toronto, right?
yeah, I'm an hour time zone ahead of Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw movies there we didn't get here. I saw Dream Scenario there too, which we didn't get here. But
Hmm.
but still, um, I could make the argument not only Greta Gerwig probably should have been up for the director Oscar, but I tell you another director that really got snubbed was Alexander Payne for The Holdovers
Hmm.
because he made that look like you were watching a film made in 1970.
Hmm.
That takes a lot of skill.
Hmm.
And I've been an admirer of Payne's work since Election with Reese Witherspoon,
Oh
and
yeah, that's a great movie.
oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I was lucky to get Jessica Campbell on here before she passed away.
Oh wow.
I still don't know why because she was only 38, so I don't know why she passed away,
Yeah.
but I was glad to get her because she gave that big speech in that movie, and I was so happy to get her. But I enjoyed Barbie. It was all the year. It was Barbenheimer, and I saw Oppenheimer as well. But Oppenheimer, I didn't see till a few months later.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What'd
and
you
I
think of
think
that one?
I loved it. And I really hope Robert Downey Jr. finally gets his Oscar.
I do too. I mean, he really, I saw him in an interview today actually on like TikTok, and he
Hmm.
was saying Chris Nolan approached him and said, you know, this is a character where I feel like we should take all of the resources that you've used as an actor so far and throw them out the window and do something really really different. And I was really taken with this interview that Robert Downey Jr. was giving, because I thought, you know, that's really what I saw in that character, something truly truly different. You know, he's not a wise cracking, sort of the thing that Robert Downey Jr. has done over the years, really quite different. And I was so happy that that was a conscious choice on their part. My understanding about Chris Nolan is that he is not, he is kind of what they call a hands-off director, in that I think that he doesn't, you know, on set discuss at great length every take and stuff like that. I don't think.
Hmm.
Um, I was seeing another interview with Killian, and he was saying that, you know, you're acting away and they cut and you look over to the director and he's like, that's his notes. You know, he's a very, so I guess, so I'm guessing if he has a discussion like that with Robert Downey Jr., like as an actor, you take it very seriously because you don't get very much feedback from him. But wow, what a stroke of genius to make those choices with that character, you know, and also to cast him as that character is,
Yeah.
his energy is just palpable on screen. You know, he just does such an amazing job. You're just like, ew, wow, what a nasty guy. You know, he just does a great job at that.
I was waiting for him at some point in that movie going, during one of those meetings go, I'm Iron Man.
And I'm glad he didn't.
But no, Oppenheimer was great, you know. But um, but I enjoyed Barbie. And I went to Barbie because, well, I always liked Margot Robbie. Emma Stone and Margot Robbie are my two big crushes.
Mm-hmm. They're
Current
both
big,
great. So you
yeah.
have good taste.
Well, not only do they look stunning, but they seem to be different every time I see them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just mentioned, Margot Robbie going from Tanya Harding to Barbie, you know,
Right.
and there's little bits of similarities in her performance in these, but they're still all different.
Yeah. It's true. And I don't know if she's done that necessarily on purpose, but I feel like it is purposeful as an actor to make very distinct choices and you have to stick to them. Having been a film actor myself, everything that you perform when you're on camera, in a movie is so disjointed. It's really a skill to hold everything together and stay on task, because you're shooting one scene at the very end of the movie, the very first day, and the next scene that you seen is, you know, scene that you shoot is halfway through the movie, and to be able to really keep it all kind of making sense as a character is actually
Mhm.
a really, that's a huge skill right there.
I'm looking up your IMDb here because I didn't know
Okay.
you. Um, maybe you mentioned it before and it just slipped my mind.
What?
Oh boy, yeah, I see your IMDb. You got Barbie up. Yeah, well, I think we might talked about that before because I remember I mentioned Point of No Return and I like Bridget Fonda. And
Right. I was her personal assistant for three movies, two movies, Single White Female, Point of No Return, and I can't remember the third movie. I
I
was her.
love Single White Female. I
Yeah,
think
it was a
that
good
is
movie.
such an underrated movie, you know.
Yeah.
And I interviewed the Materis twins from that movie,
Okay.
the two girls at the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all grown up now.
I bet.
Oh yeah, I had them on here. It's one of my most listened to interviews.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yep. They're mirror twins. Like,
What's that mean?
well, one has a little freckle on this side of her face. The
Mm-hmm.
other has it on the opposite side.
Oh, in that way, a mirror twin. I
Yep,
see. Oh, that's
mirror
interesting.
twins.
Huh.
Yeah, they were so cool. I'd love to get them back on here at some point,
Mm-hmm.
but nonetheless, they were the two girls in black and white there at the beginning of Single White Female. I
Got it.
love Single White Female. What an underrated movie, and Jennifer Jason Leigh just tearing it up, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very spooky, very spooky. Beautiful design. I forget the name of the costume designer, Milena, Italian costume designer. Beautiful costumes, It's so beautifully shot and directed. It's an incredible movie. And I think if I remember right, I started just being a regular office PA on that. And I can't remember if that was true, if I ended up driving first. There was a loophole in the transportation union at some point that they had PAs driving actors. And so
Hmm.
I picked her up in the morning and took her home at night. And then during the day, I kind of ran around and did whatever she wanted. Her
Who
dog's
is
body.
this?
What's that?
Who are you driving around?
Bridget Fonda.
Oh, Bridget Fonda. Yeah.
Yeah, and on Single White Female, and we hit it off. I think she liked that, I could hang out with her, and I think because I was an actor, I understood that, when you're away from the people, I think that you would like quiet. Because a lot of people don't understand that like being out in public for people who are famous, and especially from a legacy family like she is, the thing that you love the most is just somebody who just doesn't have a lot of questions for you about how was it growing up with Henry Fonda, right? Like, I'm sure the beauty of having someone around you is someone who doesn't ask any questions like that. We all have families, and they all have their special things that they hold for us, and it's kind of all the same. It doesn't really matter if you're famous or not.
Yeah, I've got Single White Female here on Blu-ray. I think that's such an underrated movie.
It's a good
And
one.
yep, I enjoyed that.
Hmm.
Um yeah, Barbie, I see you properly. I saw Dumb Money as well.
Hmm.
Yep, I saw that as well.
Did you
Paul
see
Dano.
Aquaman? I worked on Aquaman too.
I didn't see that one.
It's a good one.
I'm kind of superheroed out.
Yeah, I totally get it. But as those movies go, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah,
And yeah, I did, gosh, I don't remember, three or four or five kind of updates and additional photography and reshoots. It was like what took up all of the end of 2022, basically. That, and I worked on the Flash a bunch of times with their little reshoots as well.
I
And
saw The
it was really
Flash.
fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
fun.
I saw The Flash. Wow. And I saw Dumb Money, which I think was underrated. Paul Dano, underrated actor.
Great movie. Oh my gosh, so good. And I love that director. I actually talked to him very recently, Craig, and he's actually a guy, I don't think his background necessarily was commercials, but he does a bunch of huge high budget commercials. And as a result, I think much like Michael Bay and some other directors who come from that background, is a very specific kind of aesthetic, very
Mhm.
detailed about how he wants things. And that's perfect for me because that's right where I live. So I got along with him great. Loved Seth Rogen. Really a very serious actor.
I like
I
Seth Rogen.
What's that?
I like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, because I guess of his on camera character. I kind of thought, oh, he'll be that kind of chill, kind of kidding around kind of guy. He's a very intensely disciplined actor. I was a huge fan of his. I really enjoyed working with him. Very approachable, very friendly, easy going. Doesn't really, you're like, do you think you want to watch, or you want to whatever? And he's like, I don't care. I'm like, okay. Just very easygoing kind of guy. Really a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, and I remember 1999 was my favorite movie going year, and you got three from 1999 on here: American Beauty, The Haunting, and She's All That. I saw all three of them in the theater. I love American Beauty,
Yeah.
and I interviewed one of the dancers in that big rose petal scene in the
Oh
gym.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin Spacey just recently did I think it was Mad Monster Party,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I don't want to get into whatever he's been accused of, but I've always liked Kevin Spacey as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I loved American Beauty a lot. I've got that here. Um,
Good
oh
looking
my,
movie for sure.
yes. Oh my goodness.
And The Haunting, also an amazing movie. Started with a DP named Caleb Deschanel, who's a fairly well-known director of photography. You may remember him from The Natural, and he is just an amazing guy. Jan de Bont. My famous
Director of
story is
Speed.
director of Speed.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that movie was produced by SKG, and Steven Spielberg was there every once in a while, and Jan de Bont is he's a director of photography. It was his background before he directed. And we were shooting in the Dome, which is the big place where the spruce goose was stored down in Long Beach, California. If you've ever heard about that, it's this enormous dome. The spruce goose was all secret, right, for Howard Hughes when he was building it. So he built this hugendous enclosure to build the spruce goose in that was right on the water, so it literally could come out of its enclosure and go onto the water, right? That was the whole idea of the spruce goose, was that it was a water plane or something. I don't know. Howard Hughes knows. But we shot a lot of maybe half of the haunting down at the Dome, and they built all the interior bedrooms and stuff like that in the house inside that big enclosure in Long Beach. And Jan de Bont would have a microphone, like a big microphone, big speakers on both sides of the stage, and all of a sudden you'd hear that, "Where's that fucking prop guy? Where's that prop guy?" That's me, by the way. And I would be all, "Hi, Jan. What can I do for you?" He said, "What's that's," and you never understand what he was saying. And I was like, "Okay, let me go take care of that." Just hilarious. But the funniest thing was hearing, the voice of God, where you were inside the dome somewhere, and all of a sudden you hear Jan de Bont calling on his microphone. I mean, it was really a funny scene. Amazing production design on that movie, and really enjoyed working on it. I was the on-set person on that. I was not the prop master. I think I enjoyed meeting all of those actors. A huge cast in that movie, obviously. I worked with Lily there, and also in a movie called TV show called American Crime,
Hmm.
the third season of that. And Lily Taylor's just an amazing actress.
Well,
Everything she
she
does
she did
is
shoot Andy Warhol.
she she's done a lot of movies. Yeah, and she was in The Haunting as well.
Hmm.
And Liam Neeson was great. I really enjoyed meeting him. I was amazed by how ginormous he is. I was not Before I met him, I was like, I did not know you were a giant of a man, and he is in fact. Also very affable, easy to get along with. The only thing he doesn't prefer was that I also did an Irish accent. He was like, you could not do that, and that would be okay with me. And I was like, oh, sorry. Being an O'Neill, I feel like I'm Irish, but I'm not actually. So yeah, that was The Haunting.
Did you meet any of the cast on American Beauty? Like, did you meet Kevin Spacey?
Yeah, I met all of them, though I worked primarily second unit on that. So it was me and the camera crew kind of doing a bunch of the inserts of roses and dripping and stuff that they needed. And then I
I
worked with,
love that. Yeah.
yeah, I worked with first unit quite a bit. Interestingly, they just completely flattened that back lot at Warner Brothers, and that house that was shot was the American Beauty house.
Oh, with
What
the
a
red
shame.
door.
Yeah, it was there for years and years, and you would see it appear in other TV shows and stuff, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's the American Beauty house," and it is now gone. So that's kind of a shame. But yeah, I worked with all of the cast, and we had a really good time. Everybody was very cool.
Wow. I just remember they talked about, Mina Savari was always saying nothing's worse than being ordinary. Of course, everything looks ordinary when they come out of the house at the beginning, but the door of the house is red.
Yeah,
And I'm like, it just kind of stands out. I see a lot of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
symbolism
Me too.
in American Beauty. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're ever gonna quit a job, you want to do it the way Kevin Spacey does.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, she's all that. Rachel Lee Cook. She used to be a big name. You don't see her much anymore, but
No, she
that was
just did some stuff I saw recently. She's kind of like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she got married and she was a mom and stuff, and so I think she took some time off to be a mom. But I think she's back and doing stuff. She was great to work with. It was a great movie. It makes me really miss Paul Walker. He was in that movie, and I think that was maybe his first movie, actually. And I think it was my first movie as a prop master, as a matter of fact. Um, it was hard. They didn't have any money. I didn't really know how to do that job yet. And so it's kind of chaotic when you don't have all the resources and you also don't quite know how to do stuff, how to problem solve. And but I really enjoyed it. The most difficult part I remember was trying to do all of the art that she did in the downstairs.
What, you
And the
mean she didn't do it?
right, exactly. Sorry to wreck it for everybody. But it was an artist, a famous artist who did it and stuff, and just doing the paintings in different stages and the meaning of them and all that kind of stuff. I remember that being kind of, I mean, it's a long time ago now. Funny enough, someone from the New York Times reached out to me about a week ago and said, hey, would you like to talk to us about the hacky sack scene and she's all that? And I was like, hacky sack scene? I was like, honestly, I can't remember that scene at all, so I'm going to say no, just because I can't remember what you're talking about.
I really enjoyed Not Another Teen Movie because they really highlighted and made fun of She's All That.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where she's all frustrated and throwing paint at this board and whatnot,
Right,
and
right, right, right.
when the camera shows it's a stick figure.
Yeah. I mean, it was a sappy movie for sure. She's all that was. But that it getting that formula right, a high school movie can be really fun. It can be a fun little adventure, and with all the ups and downs we all remember from high school, and that's why it's solid, and people love it.
Yeah.
I
So
still have a vote for what was her name and She's All That. Do you remember her character name? Rachel Lee Cook. I
no.
still have one of those buttons from her voting for president on my in my prop truck somewhere.
I just remember they did her up in
Lainey. I think
overalls
her
and
name was Lainey. Go ahead.
yeah, they did her up in overalls and glasses and
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, who are you fooling? We know she's hot. The only time that concept really worked for me, because they did that with Emma Stone and House Bunny, and you think I'm going to buy that? No.
Right. Right.
The only time that concept to me worked was My Fair Lady, because it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't about making Audrey Hepburn hot.
Right.
The whole thing was in the title, Lady. He's turning her into, it's about attitudes. It's about turning her into a lady, you know.
Yeah.
The rest of it just goes along with it, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
I always find it funny. They take what either Emma Stone or Rachel Lee Cook, and it's like, really, you're trying to convince me that they're plain? Stop it.
I know.
Stop.
The glasses thing is pretty funny. I have to say, who's somebody who did that really well without really doing overdoing it is, you remember Jamie Lee Curtis in what's the movie she did with Arnold Schwarzenegger that I love?
Oh,
Um
True Lies.
yeah, True Lies. When she's the housewife and she's a little frumpy and she's got like a little frumpy attitude thing, and then
Oh, she
she
was so
really,
frumpy in that little scene in the bedroom where she's
I'm
crawling
just
around
saying
the
she did a
wall.
great job of transforming, didn't she? And I think they used glasses actually on her frumpier character too, but nonetheless, she really did a great job at that.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Um, but um, but nonetheless, no, I didn't know you were part of Barbie, so I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too. I mean, we were just finishing a television show here in LA called Reasonable Doubt, which is a lawyer show, which went for its second season over to Atlanta, sadly. Sadly for us, because we really enjoyed working on it. And we literally were just finishing up the very last week of it, and I got the call, and I read that script, and I was like, oh my God, we're just too exhausted. The show had been truly transmogrifying in its demands. Reasonable Doubt had been, and so we were not ready. My team and I were not ready to go on to another project, and I read the script and I was like, oh, I can't not work on this. For me, that's how I decide anything that I do. If it's on camera or off camera, whatever it is, for me, it all begins and ends with the script. And that was really an incredible, incredible script. On on social media, I've noticed that the Barbie promo people are running portions of the script on a little, you can see the words going by as the actors are saying the words, because
Hmm.
it really is an extraordinary piece of script writing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love Margot Robbie, so but anyway, we got to of course talk about some of your music and the
Yeah.
Outrageous Eight and you know, Sorority House Massacre.
Yeah. Oh, look, I forgot to tell you. Look, I have my Sorority House Massacre poster right there for you.
Look
Can you
at
see it?
that. I like that poster.
You got a year or two ago, those are all my old headshots. A year or two ago, I noticed my mom told me that secretly she has saved every headshot I ever took from about 15 years old to when I more or less stopped doing film work as an actor. And I was like, I had never saved any of that stuff. I tossed all of it. But I felt so bad that she had spent so much time and energy saving all that stuff. So I framed them and put them up because I thought, if nothing else, that's a ton of time and energy that I took pursuing that, and how sweet of her to save all of it. So there it is.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, House Massacre was a fun watch, and um, yeah, you started out in horror films. I think Margot Robbie started out in horror as well.
Yeah, I think
Um,
everybody does.
yep. Well, they seem to be an easy thing to make, so not that I would know, but
Cheap.
but
I think they're cheap to make.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I they wouldn't be cheap to make if I wanted Margot Robbie in it.
Well, yeah, you'd have to catch her at the beginning of her career, like those people probably did in the horror movie she was in.
Oh well, I can always daydream.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Yep.
So I know you reached out to me, and I was happy to hear from you. And
Hmm.
I'm guessing you must have some upcoming projects. Are you doing stuff with the Hateful Eight Japers? I can't believe I said that. Quentin Tarantino. The Outrageous Eight and Paul and
Hmm.
Brent and I had Paul on here with Miles. I don't know if you saw that
I
interview, but I
did.
had them. Yeah, I had them both on here together. That wasn't interesting, because um, the connection with Lorelai and
Yeah,
I've had the Big Broom Sisters on here, and
that's right.
yep, that was through Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and then that connected with
Hmm.
Apache Ramos from the Warriors, and I'm like, quite domino effect, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Lorelai's a dear friend, and
Hmm.
she's back out on the road with Australian Pink Floyd tribute band, which is amazing. And I've seen them two or three times. Every show is just mind-blowingly delicious. It is so great to go see that music. And yes, Miles is back in New York with his mom, and Paul is still out here. Kind of as an adjunct to just being doing creative things. A couple of years ago, I started sitting in with big bands, and big bands are 17, 18-piece bands, kind of Frank Sinatra sounding era, right? And I started talking to some of the musicians in those bands I was sitting in with, and I said, doesn't it make more sense to do a group that's a little bit smaller, but try and kind of get the same sound? Because it's hard to even find a venue that can fit that many pieces. And of course, it's way harder for the musicians to be able to make a living if there are so many people in the band. So some, the guys who are now currently in the band, I think it's either 8 or 9 years we've actually been together, and they all said, yeah, that seems like a good idea. So we all kind of just decided to try it out. And during the course of it, we started doing original arrangements of kind of American songbook music and stuff like that. And it's just kind of had a life of its own. Really, we play a lot out in LA here. We've recorded, I think we've done 4 records, a live record and a couple of remote records we did during the quarantine, which we called Quarantunes, and another couple of records, and then basically kind of started Outrageous Eight Records, which is how I produced Paul Litterall's record, to circle back around to that. And also Ron Seiger and Brent Butterworth are on this record label, as is Harry Smallenberg, our trombone player in the band, who also does our arrangements. So there's a number of artists. I basically kind of started this because I admire the musicians in the group so much. And I thought, it'd be amazing if somebody would make a record for those people. They're just amazing. And I thought, well, I guess I'm not sure who I'm waiting for to come along and make those records. So we just kind of, took it a step at a time, did it as economically as we possibly could. And our Christmas record was number 1 on the jazz Christmas charts for like 12 weeks last year and the year before that. So we're really happy with the work we've been doing. And yeah, we have a lot of shows. We have a residency at a place here in Monrovia, which is kind of near Pasadena, if you know where that is. And we are there every second Saturday. We're doing a show in May in at the Mayflower Club here in LA. We have a bunch of dates. So I think the best thing for folks to do is to follow us at outrageous8.com, which is the website. And I'm on social media, Angela O'Neill and the Outrageous Eight. Part of the reason I put my name on there is because, it's easy to track then. It's like, what's the name of your band? Oh, it's the Outrageous Eight. And then people forget it's the Outrageous Eight. So I know they'll probably remember
Or
my
they'll
name.
say like me, the Hateful Eight.
Right. Actually, people have looked for the band on the Hateful Eight, and I'll tell you, it's not that easy to find. So it's just easier, the person's name, and then it's easy to track it down. But yeah, we're on Insta, and we have a lot on YouTube of all the artists who were on the record company, are on Angela O'Neill and Outrageous Eight Records on YouTube, and that's kind of fun. The video is fun to look at for folks.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed doing those interviews, um, having them. I know I had Brent and Paul on here together, and then I had Paul on
Brent
here
and
who I
Ron, I think. Brent and Ron you
oh, it
had
was
for take
Ron.
two. Ron Seiger. Yeah.
Ron side. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah. He's the
apologies,
alto
Ron, if you
player.
hear this. I I've had so many of these people on here, so
Oh, it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. You've done so many interviews.
Yeah, but I had those two on here together, and they were a real hoot.
They're great.
We never once talked about your house or anything like that during those interviews. Never
Uh-huh.
once.
Uh-huh. My house? Why?
I think there was a joke I said that you guys ever slide door. I think it was during the pandemic. I was saying because you guys couldn't get together. I said, "What's stopping you from going outside your house and performing?" Or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
I
It's
think I
true.
said something like that. I think it's
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
over my
yeah.
head now, but
No, we did actually. It's just funny you should say that, because during the pandemic, we actually ended up rehearsing in the backyard of one of the singers' homes, and we recorded our Christmas record that was so successful in the backyard of his
Mhm.
home, because we could not get into studios at that time. So yeah, the backyards have been very helpful to us during the musical times when people were not going out to clubs and clubs were closed.
Yep. You know what? I worked through the pandemic doing cleaning and whatnot, um, so I never stopped. But I can't imagine what it was like for those that were stuck.
Yeah,
And even with, I don't know, I never got COVID. I never got it.
amazing. Hmm.
No, I never got it. I was back in our movie theaters when July of that year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they closed again and closed again. I was just getting frustrated with it, but um it never bothered me. I still went out and did my stuff. Uh I mean, I was masked up, but I was like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. But I know there's people that had it, but I was not one. I was lucky, knock on wood. But but nonetheless, I've definitely heard a lot of stories from people I've interviewed that were stuck in quarantine, and yeah, that was not fun.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget we did a music video, which I'm happy to send to you if you want to show it to the folks, called New York Minute, which was my kind of homage to having seen on the news those lines of refrigerator trucks for all the dead bodies in New York City during the height of the pandemic. So for me, it wasn't really a thing of I wasn't feeling it. Lots of people were dying. And for me, anything that I could do to help whoever was going to be vulnerable not die of it, I would be happy to weigh in on helping that cause.
Actually, it's interesting because with me, I as a cleaner, I mostly, for the most part, work overnight. So
Hmm.
for me, I wasn't around a lot of people,
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
you know. Um, I didn't fear going around people, but um, I'm pretty much like it's just me and my cat here, and
Oh yeah.
he's doing what he does best, sleep, you know.
Don't they sleep for like 20 hours a day or something, or 18?
Yeah, when I was in Toronto last, I finally got to go to the Toronto Zoo, and I was there with my friend Lisa, and I said, "Look at that! My cat is related to the King of Beast." I said, "Look at those lions! They're doing
Hmm.
just what my cat does: lay on their ass and sleep."
That's right. Actually, funny enough, I think biologists are amazed by how little difference there is between the behavior of big cats and domestic cats. They all kind of do the same stuff, which
Hmm.
is pretty amazing when you think about it. Yes, your lion cat is related to the king of beasts.
Yeah, but he's way, way, way down that list. He's way down. Actually, I never understood like I got nothing against zoos. Zoos do help preserve animals. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
I yeah, I've never had anything against zoos, but I don't understand people. I know we're getting off topic here, but I never understood people owning exotic wildlife
me either.
because I mean, my my cat is built very much the same as any of those big cats. He's
Hmm.
just small,
Yeah,
you know? It's just like a dog. Like you get somebody that's got a husky or something like that, they look very wolf-like, like,
for sure.
you don't need to get one of those animals. And I don't get it.
Yeah.
You go to
it
the
doesn't
pets.
usually it doesn't usually bode well for that ant for the wild animal either. So I feel badly for the animals because generally they get too big for the general public to be able to deal with,
Hmm.
and then they have to do something with them, and it normally doesn't go well for the animal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you go to a pet store, there's all kinds of animals you can get.
Hmm.
Like my nephew owns a ball python, you
Oh
know,
wow.
and ball pythons are supposed to be a really good pet for if you're a snake lover.
Hmm.
But anacondas are illegal for a reason,
Right.
you know. African rock pythons are illegal for a reason, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Ball
But
pythons don't get that big, yeah.
Florida is full of anacondas for people having had anaconda pets or illegally buying them from South America. And they've bred and they're all over the Florida, what's the word? Everglades now is filled with anacondas now, thanks to that.
Oh yeah, the Burmese python is taken over
Burmese
there too.
python. Yep.
Yeah, they're killing the alligators even.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's
Yep.
not that great of a thing. So yeah, it's a shame that people. I understand the attraction because those animals are beautiful, but you have to think about kind of the long term effect of how that's going to be for the animal for the course of its life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's how I look at it in terms of uh pets. I
Yeah.
got my own miniature jungle cat.
Greg's lion, pet lion.
Yep, yep, I can see the resemblance.
How old is he now? Your kitty.
Oh, I actually don't know he's a rescue.
Okay.
My parents got him from my nephew,
Oh, all right.
and he was small then, and that was before 2010. And when my parents became terminally ill and was moving into my grandparents' old house, they kept their Australian Shepherd because they were very close to that. My dad had the cat stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
He said so I would have company, but I think he knew that I was more a cat person,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I am more a cat person. So I love having Skittles around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's been a good buddy.
Well, I have a CPAP machine. And when I sleep with that thing on, Skittle jumped up on my bed. He was friggin' purring and rubbing against it. I'm like, Skittles, that is not what that's for.
This is not a cat toy.
This is not a cat toy, kitty. Yeah, this is a sleep device, kitty.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
That must help you, the CPAP, right?
you know what? I found out through a friend of mine that I snore really loud.
Mm-hmm.
And it was suggested to me to go see my doctor. But so, I didn't think anything of it, but I went and saw my doctor and suggested I go to a sleep aid place. So I did. And it was discovered through testing that I had stopped breathing during the night. I think they said 39 times or something like
Oh my
that.
goodness, that's not good.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. So I ended up getting that CPAP machine and
You sleep
some
better.
one
You must sleep better now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Skittles still jumps up on top of me when I'm asleep.
He's trying to check if you're breathing.
Oh, jeepers. He'll be at the side of my bed because I'll see his tail and I'll be like partially awake and he'll go, he'll make a little purr noise. He'll burp, he'll jump up in the bed,
Yeah.
up on top of me. I'm like, okay. And he go, yeah, Skittles has like, since my eye operation, I had to sleep on my side, but I used to sleep on my back and Skittles would have this weird habit of sleeping on my left thigh.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but he would sleep on my left thigh. Now, if I'm sleeping on my side, he'd curl up on my hip.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, you could sleep there, but if I happen to shift,
Yeah, you're off.
you'll be off. And
Supposedly, cats never sleep at a length of time the way we do over a period of time. They'll sleep for a small increment and then kind of wake up, walk around, whatever, do their thing, go back to sleep. And so I've read recently that the reason they kind of get up on their faces and stuff like that when we're sleeping is because they're worried that we're dead, which makes total sense to me. If they only sleep in very short increments, then they expect, all the other people around them, their friends and their alpha cat, to also sleep a short increment, wake up and do their thing. But we sit for hours asleep, and they must think, oh my God, what is wrong with them? Why are they not waking up? So I thought that was an interesting thing, that cats actually only sleep, even though they sleep, they lay around all the time, they sleep in shorter increments, I guess. So an hour or two, they'll be asleep and then wake up. So
probably
maybe
not
he's just
short.
checking that you're okay.
It's probably not short a time as a giraffe.
I
Giraffes are
don't
your
know about giraffes.
giraffes sleep very short times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're sleep deprived animals.
I don't know. It's just how they're built, I guess. But yeah, it's strange stuff I hear about animals,
Yeah.
but um, but nonetheless, um, I know you messaged me, and I know you got some projects coming up. So, what do you have to promote for us today?
Oh, well, I kind of did it before, which is we are every second Saturday at this place in Monrovia called the Poor House of Monrovia. We do a big band brunch over there, which
Uh-huh.
we actually absolutely love. And we have a couple of records kind of coming down the pike. So we got some singles we're going to release on Spotify here in the next couple months. And then this year we have two live records that we're going to mix. They are already recorded. And I have a Peggy Lee tribute album that I'm shooting to have done at maybe the end of this year, beginning of next. And Paul Literal also has a live record that's already recorded that we are going to produce. And actually, Take Two, Ron and Brent
Hmm.
are about halfway through writing all original record, which we don't have a name for yet. And because Brent actually moved up to near Seattle, and they're kind of writing the record remotely. And so I think they're about halfway through just writing the songs. And so I'm not sure. We don't really have a projected date for that one since they're working remotely. So yeah, we have three big projects coming down the pike. Probably end of this year, beginning of next, we'll start to be able to tell you a little bit more about those.
Okay, I should have them back on here and discuss
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
that'd be great.
I'm always open, like I told you, anytime you guys get something to promote, reach out. I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So is Margot Robbie going to sing on the album?
I did not mention to her that I had a record album. She was very busy playing Barbie at the time, and I didn't want her to fall off her rollerblades. And
You didn't want her to become flat-footed?
so yeah, I did not mention it to her, but maybe one day. We don't know. Could be. It's Hollywood, baby. Anything can happen.
I think Paul Literal should sing I'm Just Ken.
I'll mention that to him. I'll send him that message for you.
I think so, yeah.
You should play I'm Just Ken on his trumpet.
There you go. There you go. There
Oh
you
my
go.
goodness. Yep. That would be
Wow.
fun.
What pulled you away from acting, The roles just weren't as broad, or what's the story that pulled you away, or did you just prefer to go into props?
You know what? Actually, I kind of started working behind the scenes because when I was an actor, I was on set, much like a lot of these actresses, like Margot Robbie, who's a producer, and
Mhm.
a lot of them end up producing stuff. And I kind of was interested in learning more about what happened behind the scenes, how you make movies. And I think early on in that process, maybe I spent about a year or something working as like PA and stuff like that on student films and smaller projects. And I got a phone call from somebody to come and art department coordinate Apollo 13.
Yeah.
And I worked on that movie for close to a year because there was so much research involved. And I'm kind of a dorky human being, and I was really fascinated by working with NASA so much and coordinating. There were three or four units, one shooting in Texas, one shooting in Florida, one shooting in LA. I think we had five stages at one point at Universal. It was just this massive endeavor, and I was really taken with it. I mean, at that point, I didn't ever quit acting. It just became so fascinating to me to learn the behind the scenes part of it, and that just parlayed into the next thing and the next thing, and before you know it, I mean, there is a shelf life on actresses, and at that point, I was like, I could kind of go and start doing the old routine. I started doing headshots and doing the acting thing at like 14, 15 years old. So I felt like I had really enjoyed what I had done at that point, and I was just really fascinated. I just kind of followed what was interesting me at that point in time, and it just and people kept calling me and employing me, so I just kind of followed that thing. I didn't really let go of it or quit because
Mhm.
I was frustrated. Of course, when you go on four or five auditions in a week and they are all for playing a hooker, that makes it less attractive. It is very difficult to now I wouldn't even mind a well filled out character that was a hooker that actually had a personality. But instead it's just kind of it's just kind of an adjunct to the male character, or you don't have any lines, or whatever it is, just not something that really felt satisfying. It's like eating junk food, it's not really satisfying. So I was just really satisfied with what I was doing, and so I just kept pursuing it. Basically, it's very simple. It wasn't I didn't love it. I still do, and I still love performing. That's why the music thing is so much fun for me, because I always, even when I was doing full-time acting stuff, I was was actually still singing. I was in a 12-piece rock band for 10 years while I was doing the acting thing. So I've just always done the music. So for me, I'm super satisfied and happy with the behind the scenes and then being a performer with music.
You know what? I don't always comment, but I always see the post you put up for
Hmm.
Outrageous Eight. So
Oh,
anytime
yeah.
you're putting those up, and by the way, if you want to tag me in those, feel
Oh,
free. I don't
okay.
mind. I I have no problem with people that's been on my show putting stuff on my Facebook page. Go for it.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. I got guests that do that. What they got a project, they'll tag me among other people. Because that way other people can see it as well.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I always see, and I don't always comment or anything like that, but I always see the Facebook feed where it says Outrageous Eight, and
Hmm.
and so I see those. So I noticed that you guys are doing stuff. So I was quite pleased that you had reached out, and I was like, because it's like, who am I, So it's like because I first knew you from doing Sorority House Massacre. So
Right.
it's like it's really cool you're reaching out to me to
Hmm.
say, hey, I'd like to come back on your show.
Yeah,
Because
super fun. I always have fun chatting with you. And I think it's really fun. It's so interesting how all of our careers, you start somewhere, you end up somewhere else. And that's why I say to the kids who are younger, kind of coming into either propping or acting, whatever, you actually just don't know where this is going to go. And that's actually part of the beauty of it.
yeah, but no, because here's something I know Tommy Kovac can relate to this as well.
Hmm.
You know, I know you've done his show, right?
Yeah.
Splat from the yeah, I figured you did, but he and I talk a lot, and I ran into a situation recently, where I met uh actually a special effects artist at a convention, and I was actually um an associate producer on a documentary he's involved with.
Oh, okay.
And
That Tommy's involved with.
no, nope, this special effects guy.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it now.
Tommy could just relate to this, that's all.
I see. Gotcha.
And I got them to sign a Blu-ray of a movie that I was the only one to bring this movie out to them.
Hmm.
And they were so thrilled about it. And I told them, hey, I'm involved with this movie that you're involved with. And they signed this Blu-ray, and I thought was promising. I was going to get them on my show.
Hmm.
Um, didn't happen at the end of the year, and that was fine. Things were happening. Then I get a message saying, they talked about that movie enough, on other podcasts, and they're going to decline. And and I know Tommy can relate to this, and I'm like, if had I known that, I would have never have shelled over the money to get them to sign that Blu-ray.
Hmm.
I would have never have done that because I'm like, I get tired. I think there's more than enough room for everybody,
Hmm.
but yet there's certain podcasts out there that's got a massive audience,
Yeah.
and all these people go to them.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? And when they tell me to listen to those podcasts to get the information, I'm like, that's about the same as me going to a cafeteria and you telling me to eat off somebody else's plate. No, not going to work, you
Right.
know? So I said to Tommy, I'm getting to the point now when I do a convention, I might just go see the people that have done my show because I'm
Yeah.
tired of, and I've had people, well, don't you want to meet so and so? I'm like, I want a little bit of respect, because I'm
Yeah.
not exploiting anybody on here,
No.
but I hate being looked down on. Or somebody says, how many followers you have? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna go give you an interview, We're gonna have a chat. We're gonna promote whatever you need to promote.
Hmm.
And I don't like being made feel like that lower level on the food chain. So when you reach out to me and say, hey, I got something to promote, I that feels good to me, and and I love that you sent Paul and Brent and Ron and folks
Yeah.
like that my way. And let's not forget Miles. He tagged along there. But
Well, that's Lorelai's son, right? So
yep,
that completes the circle.
yeah, and it's like I'm glad that there's people that appreciate it because I I've never considered myself better than anybody else. But I hate it when some of these people that turn me down make me feel like I'm less than.
Hmm.
So
Nobody
I
likes
really,
that.
yeah, yeah. So I've
Well,
done.
I'm really glad that we've had a chance over the years to just catch up. It is always a pleasure. And everybody I send to you has a great time talking with you. You and I always wander all over the place and talk about all kinds of different subjects from cats and lions to whatever. And I love that. I think it's super fun. And I think people really appreciate your show.
When are you gonna send Margot my way?
We're very close.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we're not. But yeah, whenever I meet her next, I'll say, I got a friend for you up in Newfoundland who, am I saying
New
it right?
Brunswick.
Thank you, New Brunswick, who would love to have you on his podcast. I'm sure she has nothing to do and she'll get right on
She don't have
it.
anything. What's she doing? Really? What is she? What's she
Well,
possibly
she's
doing?
she's a big producer now.
You just a minute. You just hold there. I think I might have looking one of those boxes. I'll get one of those Harley Quinns.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see how it looks.
Yeah, I know I got one up at the top of one of these boxes. We will
Okay.
let's see what we
We
got
will
here.
see. We will check.
We will look at we will talk about Margot. Margot. These are books. So it must be in here. Do we have them in here?
Uh-oh. Where could they be?
Oh, yes, I found.
You found them, huh?
I did.
Nice job.
Well, I found one. Anyways, I found one.
That'll do.
I found a big one too. Okay, well, I found the big one. I got a couple of small ones, but this looks just like Margot Robbie. See if it'll show up here.
It's kind of having problems. There we go. Oh, yeah, it needs light.
Yeah,
Wow. There's that baseball bat you told me about.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. Actually, I see what you're talking about. There really is a lot of detail.
yeah. And it's got
Hmm.
her image there, so it's from the movie. I got this a few years ago at a flea market.
Oh,
There's some
wow. Of all
Yeah,
things.
somebody was selling. I get to show up here, but my background is
Yeah.
really
Oh, there we go.
messy.
That's the
Yeah,
way. And now you got it. That is pretty darn cool looking there.
yeah. So I got it looks just like Margot Robbie, and they got the
Hmm.
Joker and Deb Shop, and I'm like, yeah, I just want Margot. But
That
yeah, I got
was a
two,
good
and
that was a good find.
yeah, that was a good find. You got here at the bat, and I got a couple of smaller ones where you got the bat and got the big hammer. So yeah, so I had that packed away in the box, and
Yep, that's good looking.
yeah, so got the yeah, it looks just like Margot.
Hmm.
And now they got Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn in the next Joker movie.
Did they really? Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And I'll be frank, I was really impressed with Lady Gaga in Stars Born. So, and I've heard great things about her as a person. I heard she's just a
Uh-huh.
really nice person, but I'm kind of like intrigued about what kind of Harley Quinn she plays in Joker too. So,
I bet she'll be
um,
great.
yeah. Well, Margot can't play Harley Quinn anymore because she's gotten nicer and nicer. She's gonna
Barbie
play.
can't be Harley Quinn. I mean,
Yeah,
first of all, what are the chances there's going to be a sequel to Barbie? I think pretty high. So,
Yep, and next she's gonna play Mother Teresa. And eventually she's gonna play an angel, a real angel.
right. She's working her
I
way
don't,
up.
I don't know. I mean,
Where do you go
how
from
much?
here?
Yeah, where'd he go? You know?
I mean, honestly, if the next Barbie movie says she's a producer on the first Barbie, if she's a producer on the next one, she could just retire and move back to Queensland and never work again. It's made a ton of money. Think about
Or
it.
Skittles, you want Margot Robbie to stay here with us?
Or do you want her to retire? Maybe she'll do Barbie 2 first.
Skittles, if she moves in here, she'll make the place pink. I got no problem with that.
Right. Obviously.
Yeah. Skittles is ignoring me.
Yeah. He doesn't care about you and Margot. He doesn't think Margot's coming.
I don't think she's coming either.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah.
it's been amazing to get a chance to catch up with you again. I'm glad you're doing well. And oh, I like those glasses. Those are nice. Does
Actually,
that
these
make
are
your
kind of like readers. This is
okay,
the eye
gotcha.
I had the retina operation on.
Oh yeah.
January 10th, I had like little floaters in front of this eye.
Uh-huh.
And I went to an eye doctor and he said, it's just coming with age. It's like,
Right.
okay, okay. Exactly 10 days later, January 20th, I was at work again, and it was like a shade over this eye, and
Oh
I could
wow.
see about 20% of my vision.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. So I went to the eye doctor, and he said to me, he says, yeah, you got retina tear. You need to have that operated on.
Oh, that's scary.
Now, here's the problem. I mentioned my criticism over New Brunswick, Canada.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to take it a little bit further.
Okay.
So it was a Tuesday on that last week of January, and Tuesday, I got the word that I got to get this operated on. So I do my overnight work, and I'm coming back here and I just slip into bed because I sleep during the day. And then my phone rings about 8:30 in the morning. Eye doctor tells me I need to be in Halifax by 1 o'clock
That
for an eye
day?
op. Yeah, an
Oh my
operation.
God.
Halifax is about 4.5 hours away.
Okay.
You're calling me at 8 in the morning, and I'm like, how am I going to get there? I get a car, but still, I have to have somebody drive me because it's an operation.
Mm-hmm.
Because they won't. I know they won't let you go home if you
That's
only.
right.
So
Yeah.
I'm out, and they said, "Don't you have somebody who can take you?" And I said, "Probably my younger brother, but he's at work right now, and this is a little bit sudden. I mean,
Right.
he does have to he does have an obligation to his
He's
employer,
got to make arrangements. Yeah.
you know." So I said, "What about tomorrow?" I said, "Let me call my brother." So I called my brother Andrew up, and I did not want to throw this out. I hate inconveniencing people,
Yeah.
which is why I won't convince Margot Robbie to move in here because it would really inconvenience Skittles. It would
Well,
really
that's that then.
it would really inconvenience Skittles,
Yeah,
you know, because Margot might fight with him over the treats. I don't think
that's
so.
true. That's true. It could be.
But anyway, so my brother says the closest he could do is Friday. So I get back to them and I tell them Friday. And they say, okay, you'll be there for your consultation on Friday. And I said, no. I say, if I go there, travel 4.5 hours there, the operation's going to be done either that day or the day after. There's going to be no back and forth here.
Right.
So they said, okay, we'll do it Monday. So Monday, January 30th, or
Hmm.
29th, excuse me, I went there. My brother took me down. They took my car, but my brother drove and I got the consultation. The following day, I had the operation. My brother took me home that day.
Uh-huh.
So I just wasn't going to, and this is why I have a problem with New Brunswick. It's such a backwards province Nobody knows where it is. And it's like I can't get that operation here.
Right.
Like I had a rupture operation back in 2000. I was able to do that here. I can't do
Uh-huh.
this here. But
Yeah.
I was watching videos online of people that's had this done. And there was a 24-year-old girl from Toronto who had it done. Toronto, my place. Guess
Your
what?
home
She got it
you
done right there in Toronto. And I'm like, oh, one more reason for me to move there.
right. There you go.
So yeah,
But your eye
yeah.
feels better is the good news.
Well, I can't see on this eye, but I could see this moving. Like I could see that there's light there, and I
Uh-huh.
could it's like wobbling a little bit. So I'm like, okay, something's happening. So I'm hoping this dissolves and this heals because this is gonna dissolve. And they wanted me to take a week off work, and I said, look, if I don't work, I don't get paid, and if I don't get paid, I'm in a worse situation than this, you know?
There's no cat treats.
Yeah. So they asked me don't lift any more than 10 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So I could pick Margot Robbie up, no problem.
I'm sure she'll
No,
be very relieved to hear that.
yeah, but nonetheless, I had it done. It was painless. Do you ever have this done before? Probably not.
No. Uh-uh.
It was painless and I wasn't under for it.
Oh, wow. That's great.
They just froze it and they were working on it while I was right there, you know, but
Yeah, just wide awake.
yeah, but
That's
I didn't feel
crazy.
any pain and so I'm just waiting for it to heal because like I said, there's a New Jersey chiller that I'm going to accompany Lisa Langlois, Canadian actress, at. It'll be our fourth convention together, but my first in the States,
Oh,
if I
okay.
can do that. So I'd like to
And
do that.
where are you going to what's the convention you're going to?
Do chiller in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, New
That's your
Jersey
first one in
chiller.
the States? When is that
Yeah.
one?
Huh?
When is it?
Oh, it's the weekend of the 26th and 28th of April. So
It's
this
coming
is
up.
supposed to, they say 6 to 8 weeks for this to heal.
Okay.
Then my eye doctor said the longest he's seen it go is 3 months. So January 30th, that's pushing it because I'm not allowed to fly with this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it'll be healed by then
Yeah.
so that I can go do this, you
Yeah,
know.
that would be great.
Yeah. Roseanne Arquette's going to be at this. And I'm like, I liked her ever since seeing her in After Hours,
Hmm.
Scorsese's movie. So I was like,
Yep.
that she's a tempting one to go meet, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but they got a lot of people there, and but uh, if Lisa's going to be there, I would love to go and assist her at her table
Yeah.
because she opened. I got my passport through her help. You know,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I was in Toronto, and I visit her when I go to Toronto. We connect, and she said, you know, if I could do cons in the States, you know, it'd be great to have you come. And so she showed me how to get my passport set up, and I got set up right there in Toronto and
Oh,
was
that's great.
visiting.
Well, then you have to go if you went and got your passport and all that.
I would like to. I would like to. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping this doesn't sabotage that. And
I bet not. I bet you're going to do great. I bet it's going to heal up just perfect.
yeah, but nonetheless, you want to plug all your social media and your web page and
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Angela O'Neill. The name of our band is Angela O'Neill and out the Outrageous Eight, not the Hateful Eight, but the Outrageous Eight. We are at outrageous8.com. That has all the list of where we're playing and who's on the record label and all that good stuff. And please tune in to our YouTube channel, Angela O'Neill and Outrageous Eight Records, that has all the artists who are on the record label. And yeah, we got exciting stuff coming up. We're very excited about the coming year. We may have sneak peek a July 4th show, which will be both bands together. Paul Literal band, maybe our opener on July 4th at the Warner Center. We have not yet signed contracts, so don't tell anybody. And the Outrageous Eight playing the main body of it. So we're really excited about the year coming.
is Paul Literal going to have pink headphones too?
No, those are just me.
Just you?
Yeah,
Just you?
Just wait.
Yes, and of course you're on Spotify. My show is also on Spotify.
Oh, that's good to know. So tell the folks, Python's Paradise, and how do they find it?
I guess you just look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Here's
how you
how
do it.
here's how this came about.
Uh-huh.
I had an interview I did with somebody that got pulled by YouTube, which
Oh.
put a strike against my channel, and they
Mm-hmm.
said because of misinformation on health. And I listened to the interview, and it
Hmm.
was just me and an independent actress. During our downtime in the interview, it was during the pandemic. I asked her what the pandemic was like where she was because
Yeah.
I'm here. I didn't know what it was like, and she was in the States. So I
Right.
was like, what's it like there? How are you guys dealing with it?
Uh-huh.
That was what I got a strike for.
Oh, you're kidding. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
you know how much crap is on YouTube that's offensive?
Right?
So I was like, you know what? YouTube is eventually going to bury me.
Yeah.
So I got Spotify,
Uh-huh.
and I got to figure out whether I could put audio on not locals, Rumble, because I know I got some video interviews, but I want to put everything on there. So I'd like to be able to put audio up there, the interviews I just did
Oh,
by
yeah.
phone.
Uh-huh.
So I know there's Rumble and there's locals. I just need to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about the YouTube thing, and I'm not going to be censored because I asked somebody what it was like in their neck of the woods due to that shit show that was happening there a couple of
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah. That's interesting that they caught that or dinged it for some reason.
Yep. And
Yeah.
it was a very inoffensive interview. So I was like, you know what? And I tried to appeal it,
Oh,
and it didn't pass. And I was like, you know what? This is stupid. I
yeah.
said, I know my answer to this. Spotify.
Right.
And,
Okay. And so this interview that you're doing with me, it will go up on Spotify.
it's going to go up on both.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, it won't be public right away.
Okay.
Because
Oh,
I
there's some
have
people in front of me probably.
actually for YouTube or for Spotify, I have one go public a day.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And this is my second year having them go public.
Uh-huh.
So that's how that works. And
Okay.
at YouTube, it'll be unlisted until I go to put it public. Here's what I do. I'll send you the link, and whether
Okay.
it's unlisted or not, you can post it wherever you want to.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, because I don't know when it's going to go public. That's too much on the brain right now.
All
But
right. Okay, got it.
I always allow people to post it, whether it's unlisted or not, and people
Okay.
can still watch it. And if you want to put it on your website, go right ahead. That's
Okay.
you totally permitted. I'm fine
Love
with
it.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm fine with that. So yeah. But yeah, I got Spotify because I'm not dealing with YouTube's politics. It comes
Right.
down to that. I don't have time. Life is too short. If
Life is
they
short.
if they cut me off, okay. There's gonna be a
Right.
few disappointed people out there, but there's another platform where I can be found. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And thank
yeah,
God for that. I think everybody appreciates what you do.
yeah. Well, I would bid you a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thank you. And you too.
Yes. And of course, Margot Robbie, I mean, Harley Quinn here, of course, sends her love,
And a
sends her
baseball
love.
bat.
Well, she's going to go for the tryouts.
Yes, exactly.
I think she wants to be part of the baseball Furies from the Warriors.
Yes, that's what
I,
she wants.
I think that's what she wants. Maybe she wants to go on a play date with Barbie. I don't know.
Oh, that's a thought.
But she wants to go on a play date with Barbie, Harley Quinn, Sharon Tate.
That would be an interesting date.
That would be like multiplicity for Margot.
It would. That's the name of your new autobiography, Multiplicity for Margot.
Yeah, instead of Michael Keaton, it's Margot.
Exactly.
I
Exactly. That was a
think
great
it's
movie.
cool you got to work on Barbie. How do you feel that the success of that movie?
It was so shocking to me because, and the reason it was shocking was not because I didn't think it was a great project, but I've worked on quite a few great projects that nobody ever heard of. But I was so pleased because I thought the script was very had a strong message. And so for me, I was like, wow, that has universal appeal, huh? So I was really excited that it was so appealing to so many people. And it just, it started out and they did a little bit of publicity on it, and then the Barbenheimer thing kind of happened, and I was like, oh, that's great, it's getting a little bit more, and then it just kept expanding, and I think it's still going. I mean, they're still showing it in theaters all over the world right now, and um I think it's pretty great. I like a lot about the message that's in that movie. I think it's a very I think it's a very loving movie in a way. I think that it attempts to not malign anybody, and I love that. You know what I mean? And it's fun to watch. It's great to look at because the design is so amazing. And Ryan Gosling, who is a total doll baby, he's like one of the nicest actors I've ever worked with. And Margot too are just wonderful. So I couldn't have been more pleased, honestly, and happy that it has had such success.
What about Michael Cera playing? Who was it he played? What's the name of that character? It just shows up randomly.
I don't remember the name of that character. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so much about the movie that's actually really funny. You just giggle through the whole thing. So I love that.
So do you think we're going to get Barbenheimer the movie?
It's already being made.
I think that'd be an interesting,
I mean, I saw
maybe,
it in the trades. It's already being made.
huh?
Um, there is something in the trades already by that name that is being produced.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh wow, I didn't know that because I just had this image of Barbie and like Iron Man.
Right. No, Barbenheimer. There's a movie called Barbenheimer.
Is it gonna be like a spoof or what?
It is a spoof. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm open to that. I like spoofs.
All right. Well, it'll be coming to you soon.
Wow. Will
Yeah.
Margot be in that?
No, I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Oh well, I wonder who they'll get.
I know. It didn't have a cast list. Where I saw it listed, it didn't have a listed cast, so I have no idea. But I did see the name of it and I was like, "Oh, they're doing that. Okay." So I think
Okay,
it's
I dig it. I dig it.
yeah, I do too.
I dig it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
thank you so
I hope you get to do Barbie too.
I know that would be fun, wouldn't it? And thank you again so much for having me on. It's a pleasure always talking to you. I love talking to you about our projects that are coming up, and it's fun. It's fun just talking to you about movies and music in general.
Well, you know what? Before I let you go, please do a plug for my show.
Okay.
Just state your name and say you're with the Outrageous Eight, and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Hi, everybody. This is Angela O'Neill from Angela O'Neill and the Outrageous Eight, and I'm here visiting with Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Absolutely. And folks, she has pink headphones on. She has gone totally pink. Well, not totally. It's the only thing pink on, but
Still, it's a
still,
statement.
still. Next time she's on here, she'll have pink frames around those headshots, you know?
Oh, maybe it's an
She'll have a
idea.
pink frame on that Sorority House Massacre poster.
Exactly. See, there you can see it. I'm working on it. I might find a frame that big. So
That's
funny.
like Barbie on that poster right there.
It is
Yeah,
1986 Barbie.
1986 Barbie. Great year for movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Angela, thank you so much for reaching out. And like I said, the door is always open. And like I said, when those projects come, you reach out.
Thank you so much. It is really a pleasure speaking with you. And I know all the guys on Outrageous Eight Records will come and be visiting you as our projects come around. So we can't wait.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, we got to remember too, Paul is in a He's not in a Barbie house. He's with the Kens.
He's with the Kens.
He's with the
Exactly.
Kens. I got a new image of him now in my head.
In his Ken house.
He's in his Ken house with Ron and Brent. They're all Kens.
Exactly so. All right,
Absolutely.
man. Well, good luck. I hope your eye starts to feel better soon and you end up getting to go to Chills. I will cross my fingers for you, and the folks will know that they'll be able to see you there. I bet they'll be super happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Skittles says as long as I can see that treat bag to feed him, he's for good.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Greg. Thank you so much. Stay warm up there.
Absolutely.
I'll talk with you soon, bro.
God bless you. Thank you
God
so
bless.
much.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.